What's going on, everyone? My name's AJ. Welcome to the Adoration podcast. I just wanted to introduce my special guest, Adrian Araquel. Hopefully I said that right. He's like, you could do the Spanish variation version of it, aka A. Dot Solid, aka Mr. Steal Your Orange Pants Girl, aka Volume Variety. But in all seriousness, he's an educator, content creator, music curator for Volume Variety, and one of the most stern, expressive, and easygoing people that I know of. And I'm really excited he reached out to hop on the pod, but I just want to ask him a lot of questions and learn about him. He lives in Arizona, but he grew up with my cousin Nico, and he's one of his best friends for his entire life, basically.
20 years.
20 years?
Yeah.
So did you want to introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah, so I'm Adrian Arkel. I've known AJ since, I want to say our sophomore year of high school, so since like 2010. So I've known him for a minute now, and even though like I moved and like we've always managed to like keep in touch with each other, and he's a homie. So yeah.
Adrian and I, and even Nico, have been to many dances together, like high school dances and
For sure.
homecomings and things like the proms. And I always think about the best times that we've all shared with one another.
For sure.
And even though we don't talk that often, I do consider us homies, not necessarily acquaintances, but the more frequent we hang out with one another, the closer we learn about each other and just chill. Everyone's super easygoing, and it's great people to have, like we said in Nico's podcast. Their whole friend group is so welcoming, and that's why I feel that energy. I'm glad that you wanted to share some of your story and chop it up on the pod.
Yeah, for sure, man. Because I feel like you and I, like you said, like we haven't been super close. But then when we do like link up with each other, like our conversations and the vibes are always like top tier. So
Always, man.
Yeah.
I always feel the energy.
yeah, so I appreciate you having me on here.
Appreciate you,
yeah,
man.
hell yeah, bro.
So I just wanted to get into the first topic. Like we said earlier, Adrian is an educator, specifically in physical education. How did you know you wanted to become a teacher?
In terms of like PE specifically, like I've always been an active person. Like I played basketball my whole life, and the teaching aspect was something like that kind of came a little later, because it like the more like as I grew older, it made me I realized like, oh wow, like I like working with people, I like helping other people, you know. So I kind of wanted to put two together. I originally wanted to do like physical therapy, but I'm like, that's a lot of school. So I was like, let me like veer off to another path. So I was like, why don't we become a PE teacher? Because I feel like that'd be cool, you know? Ever since like I've wanted to go into that path, people are like, oh, I could definitely see that. You know what I mean? So I got a little validation from like other people. And now that I do it, like, it's fun, you know? So, yeah. So that's how it happened.
I love that, man. That's super endearing and admirable. I got so much adoration for the fact that you don't necessarily find it people-pleasing, but more fulfilling than anything else.
Most definitely.
Because my brother's a teacher as well, and I love the fact that you mixed your passion with your purpose in teaching. So how do you incorporate fun and engaging activities for your students when we're in a social media type of age?
So I think it's just like being able to provide variety, right? It's like versus just like throwing things out at them like, hey, like play basketball today. You're just watch them play basketball. It's like, no, like I like have different games, like focus on certain skills on specific days, right? So like for 2 weeks we'll do straight like cooperative games, right? So whether it be like team games, like a tag games, like just trying to change it up so they don't get tired of it. And on top of that, like while we're playing games, I'm always playing music. So like instrumentals, I'm always playing music. They don't even know that I'm playing K-Tronada instrumentals the whole entire time. And like they're like blessed. They don't even know it. You know what I mean?
What grade do you teach?
Elementary, so K to 6.
K to 6.
Yeah. Like when I'm having them play the games, the music is playing, like some kids will be dancing in the corner, other kids will be playing the games. Like it's kind of a little bit for everybody. Like I try to change it up so everybody feels involved.
I love that. How do you balance the students that are competitive with the students that just want to have fun? Because in sports, there's a fine line between some people say getting a participation award, but also some folks taking it very seriously, but almost too seriously.
Yeah, so like I always like try to set ground rules before, right? We have this thing called like code for our school, like make sure they're aware of what's happening and they're abiding by it at all times, right? Like so for PE, I always want to tell them beforehand, like, hey, these are just games. Like this isn't the World Cup. This isn't, you know what I mean? This isn't like a world championship. I'm not giving out awards to anybody. Like I want you to exercise, I want you to feel involved, and I want you to have fun, right? Those are like my 3 big things. Some kids they abide by it. Some kids just like, nah, dude, like why aren't you trying hard enough? But it's like And I always have to emphasize, like, it's not that serious, you know. I appreciate you trying, but like tone it down a little bit, type of thing, you know.
Love that.
I try to give like constant reminders. So yeah.
And I think deep down, whether it's recognized or not, you're giving those students a sense of validation within themselves, even though you don't want the recognition. You're truly receiving it because maybe in the future they're like, well, Mr. Araquel, he really helped me feel good about my body, feel good about working out every single day, and it's a part of their lifestyle.
Yeah, so the thing that like makes me really happy is like I introduce a new game or like an activity or something, and they like come back next week and are like, "Hey coach," because I go by Coach A. They're like, "Oh Coach A, I played that game we did in class. I did it with my friends or my cousins." Like that's the stuff that makes me really happy because it's like being able to translate what we're doing in class outside of class is like my biggest goal. You know, so that's what I'm trying to do.
And I think if there's anything we get from this conversation, it's the fact that physical education really matters.
Oh, for sure.
Some folks think that school is just a competition on who could remember the most and recite it back the best. But when it comes to physical but when it comes to physical education, I really think that you're building habits for the future for the younger generation.
Yeah, and let's be real, like not every kid is like academically gifted or really good in the classroom. So when they go to PE, they probably prefer that because it's something that they could kind of shine in, you know, like have fun in. Because like I'm not giving them a grade on based on like how many push-ups or what they're doing. It's like effort, you know. So if you're trying, you're gonna do well, you know. So it's like it gives them another avenue to show off what they could do, versus like writing or reading, you know. So yeah.
So how do you keep your classroom so diverse and inclusive while being respectful at the same time? Because there could be some kids who maybe are on the competitive side that are mean to other kids, and some that are more on the casual side that don't really care as much but may bully as well. How do you keep your classes in line and not necessarily discipline them but keep them in check as a facilitator?
Yeah, so like when it comes to like team stuff, like I'll just do it randomly. Like, hey, you here, you there, you there, you there, you there. That's like my main way of like dividing. Other times I will purposely make the teams unfair just so they face adversity, right? I want to see how they respond to it, you know. And the other thing I do is like if I see a kid that's like not into it, like really just I don't want to be here type of thing, I'll group him with the kids that are trying really hard to kind of boost up their spirits. You know what I mean? Something like that. That's like how I try to do it because I want to make it fair. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I want people to get involved. Like obviously, like it's not perfect. It's gonna be damn near impossible to like get them to try to participate. But at the same time, like I'm trying my best to provide that for them. If it's just a matter of them wanting to participate or they don't, you know.
And that's all you could do. And I got so much adoration for the fact that you are really trying your best to help folks learn about physical education in a fun way.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate that. I'm trying my best, you know. So
How much correlation do you think fitness relates to mental health?
oh, they go hand in hand, man. Because for me personally, like I'm still very active today, and like say I have a hard day, whether it be work or just anything that like kind of brings me down, turning to fitness is kind of what clears it away. You know, lifting some heavy weight, that's like my favorite thing. Like I forget about everything that just happened.
Therapeutic, cathartic.
Very therapeutic, yeah. And that's something I remind to my students, right? Like we all have bad days, you know. We all have methods of trying to cope and deal with certain things. But at the same time it's like, hey, maybe this could be a new method or something you already do, like work out or exercise, something like that. So yeah.
I agree with you. I think that a lot of it is habit building and picking an alternative, not necessarily canceling everything. If you love junk food, you could have it in moderation. And for me, I used to be addicted to junk food. I would eat it every single day since the pandemic, basically.
Yeah.
And I haven't worked out since like 2019 regularly until this year.
Yeah.
And I always thought about the saddest times I've ever been in life, whether it's like a relationship thing or work thing or anything else. I've always took long walks that were so cathartic and relaxing for me, but also long drives. And even just working out in general really gives me mental clarity and keeps me at peace. So I resonate with everything you just said. And I love the fact that you're fulfilling your passion while still teaching kids and doing something that you love to do and love to serve with.
Yeah, man. And then like I don't know if you had like PE teachers who like participated and did the games with you.
Yeah, all
But
the time.
I do that, and that's the thing that like I think they appreciate, because I don't know if their like last PE teacher never did that or something. But why not have fun while they're having fun versus just
Exactly.
watching, you know? So,
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So my next topic is music. I know that you have a content curation page for music called Volume Variety. Did you want to introduce to the people how you got interested in music and the intention behind your page?
Yeah, so like how I got into music was like ever since I was like super young. I remember like my dad slapping like Michael Jackson and Brian McKnight like when I was like in elementary school, like Saturday mornings, he'd just be blasting it. That would wake me. That was my alarm clock on the weekends, and that just brought me back to fast forward to now, like that appreciation for music. That's what like kind of where it stems from. And in terms of my page, the Volume Variety. So basically, Volume Variety, I'm just sharing music, things I'm into currently. I'll even do like topics of like Throwback Thursdays and just stuff that I think you may like or something that I like. Not necessarily like, oh, I'm trying to put you on. You know what I mean? It's just like I'm sharing it because I like it. You know, it's pretty simple. Yeah.
I love that. A lot of times when it comes to content curation for music, fashion, or mood boards, it could come off as gatekeeping, but your content and your page comes off as friendly, inviting, and just shareable.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm trying to do. Because I've seen pages where it's like they share stuff and it's like very like underground and like you've never heard this.
We
It's
did
like,
it first.
yeah, we did it first. It's like no, it's like no, like music is out there to be heard. You know, like just because I haven't heard of it and you have, that doesn't make you any better. You know what I mean? Or make me any better. I'm just trying to have you enjoy it. Or if you don't enjoy it, at least you tried. You know, right?
Just check out the playlist. If you like one song, that's cool. I just want to share with you what I like. And I love your page for that reason.
I appreciate that.
You always have clips of you just shooting hoops or working out, and then it goes straight into you talking to the camera like, what's up, guys? Volume Variety. I don't know how you...
No,
you
because
do
I'm
it.
just I'm like at the end of the day, like me trying to come up with like an intro and like stuff to do when I'm introducing music. Like I always found it super awkward to just sit in front of a camera
Yeah.
and just, oh yeah, if you like this song, if you like this genre, you should listen to this. It's like
Mhm.
I was doing that at first. I'm like, let me just try to make it interesting. Like let me go shoot some hoops, or like stuff like that. You know, just trying to make it fun.
I definitely resonate with you as a content creator, because sometimes when I'm even making this podcast or other videos, I don't want it to just be like, hello everyone, my name is AJ, welcome to the Adoration podcast, my guest is Adrian Araquel. Like, we're not in a business meeting, you know what I mean?
And I can't even lie, I was doing that for like the first year, like because I didn't know what to do, you know what I mean? And then I got a little more comfortable. Then I started adding like the bloopers, which was fun, you know what I mean? And yeah, now it's cool. Like I haven't posted in a while; it's just been busy, you know. I need to get back on that, but yeah, it's fun, you know. Like I don't have like a goal for it. It's just like take a listen, you know.
A medium for expression and sharing.
Definitely, that's what it is. Yeah,
Love it, man.
Yeah,
Love that.
yeah.
And that's one of the big reasons why we have you on the podcast. I learn a lot from you just expressing yourself through social media, because we could overthink it sometimes, especially if you're making a lot of content. I was thinking quantitative content.
Yeah.
If you're making a lot of content frequently, you could get in your head a lot and always look at the analytics of things.
Yeah. I've always been the type of person, like, rather than seeing the amount of likes and just the number, right? I'm not worried about that. I've never really tripped off of it. When people reach out to me and be like, yo, this was a banger, like, you put me on. Oh, I love this song. Sharing that similarity with somebody, like, that's dope. Or having somebody reach out and be like, yo, like, thanks for sharing, right? Or even I've gotten situations where, like, the actual artist that I'm sharing will reach out to me. Like, my page is super small. Like, I don't know, 250 followers or something, you know? But like I've had some of my favorite artists reach out to me and be like, yo, thanks for sharing, or they'll like the post. I'm like, that's sick, you know? Versus like seeing the number. That trumps everything, you know? Yeah.
You never know who you're inspiring, but you also never know who you're aggravating. Some people take content in just to hate. Some people take content in to really connect and resonate with people. And I personally make content because I interact with so little people on a daily basis that I resonate with you more than some people that I interact with that I don't have a real communication or connection with.
Yeah. I think it's just finding that way to connect to somebody, you know, whether it be fashion, music, different types of media. And then you're able to kind of bond through that way. You know what I mean?
And we're bonding through this because a lot of times I get really hurt when people misconstrue the intention of this podcast or even our content, and they think we're trying to do it for the likes or the adoration. This is the Adoration podcast. I could really care less
Yeah.
what people really think about it. I just want to have a good conversation with someone that I call a friend and really look up to as far as a content creator, someone serving his community, and teaching a new generation of kids who want to be more physically fit, but also mentally healthy through their lifestyle.
Yeah, for sure, and I agree because like at the end of the day, it's like before indulging into any type of like content creation or like media space, it's just like you want to think of why are you doing it, right? Because if your intention isn't right, you're not gonna have fun doing it, right? Like for me, the whole purpose of me trying to share the music is because I was already sharing music on like my Instagram stories and stuff like that, and then I've gotten inspiration from like other creators, like they're sharing music. I'm like, well, I could do that too, you know. And the more I did it, I'm like, dude, this is hella fun. You know what I mean? And my purpose of doing that is just because it's fun, not because I am getting this amount of likes or like all the other stuff. People reaching out, that's just an added bonus, you know. Like being able to express myself in this way, that's all I'm trying to do. So
You're using it as a platform for you to express yourself versus impress others.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's easy to take it the wrong way, whether it's DJing, whether it's music curation, whether it's making something like this, or just putting yourself out there on social media.
Yeah, like I get fulfillment from just being able to put myself out there, right? Because I keep to myself, you know, I'm pretty introverted. And me being in Arizona, all my homies are in the Bay, so, right? So this is a way of me like communicating with them and other people without being there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And some people think that we gatekeep, whether it's music, whether it's fashion or DJing or anything else. But we're really just trying to use this platform to share with others what we're passionate about. And it's a medium that if we didn't share our passions, our love for the craft or whatever we do or whatever we're interested in, we would never be fulfilled in our lives. Life's too short to just focus on your day job or only your passions or only hanging out with friends and family. You have to do something for yourself that really brings you at peace and doesn't even make you money, just something you're passionate about.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, like I said earlier, like you got to realize that at first that like the goal, like who are you doing it for, right? Because if you're trying to doing it to get like popular, like you're not gonna get that way because it's gonna be a long road for you, right? If you're doing it solely to feel good, like you and I, right? Then you're gonna have fun with it regardless of what the outcome is, you know?
I always put that into perspective when I'm doing any content. I understand that for some aspects of my life, I have to treat it as a business.
For sure.
But for platforms like this, I don't necessarily have to try to get the most cloudiest guest or anything else. It's truly just a passion that I do. We're literally two people in this room. There's 3 cameras. This is my childhood bedroom. I edit the videos. We record the videos. There's no one else here. We're literally just hanging out, having a conversation. I just want to have great conversations that we document and see how we've grown over the years, because we're going to be talking about it off camera, but I want to see how it is on camera and document the growth and document memories we have with one another.
Yeah, it's like we've been doing this, right? It's just
Yes.
doing it in front of a camera now,
Yeah.
you know? But then the thing is, it's like, it's fulfilling, you know what I mean? You're able to have a conversation. And like I said, like all my homies are here, right? So it's like having face-to-face conversation with somebody, this is dope. You know what I mean?
I love that.
Yeah,
Bro. I'm feeling
yeah.
the energy right now.
Yeah,
We got
hell yeah,
that,
man, for
got
sure.
it going on.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask a more fun question, not saying the serious things weren't as fun. What are your top 3 genres of all time? And it doesn't necessarily have to correlate to the genre, but who are your top 3 artists of all time as well?
All time.
All time.
Wow. Well, I want to say number 1 is for sure R&B. Like if you've seen the page and like the music I share, it's definitely like heavy R&B, different types of R&B, you know, like that's definitely number 1. 2, I'd probably say like hip hop. These days I haven't really dabbled into it. A lot of the hip hop I'm consuming is like stuff that I've been listening to for years already, not necessarily new, but I'll dabble in the new stuff every now and then. But I would probably say hip hop because that's probably the music I've been listening to like heavy for the longest. And then 3rd, I really like the indie stuff, you know, like the artists who aren't really like as super known, or like the artists that are like kind of a bit different from everybody else. Like that's the stuff I like too. Like, oh, you didn't know them? Like, oh, listen, you know, like that type of stuff is like kind of either far left or right. Like, oh, I didn't expect this. That's the stuff I really like. Experimental. There you go. Like they're more experimental with like their sound, you know, or like you could see like their passion for the music, not just like this is gonna be a hit, you know. Yeah, you know what I mean. That's what I appreciate about the indie stuff. It's like it's from the heart, you know. So it's like that's what I appreciate.
I think because it resonates with your content, how your content's from the heart, and that's what I got so much adoration for as far as your music content creation. I think a lot of times in social scenarios, whether people know it or not, there's always a sense of judgment.
For
Like,
sure.
oh, you haven't heard that yet?
Yeah.
And you like, oh, okay, sorry, I haven't heard it yet. You know what
Yeah.
I mean, I'll listen to it when I get to listen to it.
Yeah, I can't even lie. Like when I was way younger, like as a teenager, I was like that because I've always been like tapped into music.
It's like late pass.
Yeah, it's like, wow, you just heard of them?
Yeah.
Really? I've been on
It's
them
like
for like 2 years.
condescending or
Yeah.
patronizing.
Yeah, but then you gotta realize like not everybody's on like keeping up with music like you are, you know, like
Researching 8:59 Pacific Standard Time.
like and that's the same with like sports too. Like for example, right? Like keeping up with like the stats of players or like where they went to college and stuff like that, and like, oh, you didn't know he went there? Like it's
Yeah.
the same thing. Like just because they're not into it as much as you are, doesn't make you any better, you know?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think it's just the way it's communicated and the way it's received.
Yeah.
You could say it in an extremely wrong way, like,
Yeah.
oh, you haven't heard that yet?
Yeah.
And it could, you're patronizing or it
Yeah.
could feel like you're making fun of someone.
Yeah.
But if you're saying, oh, have you heard it yet? I think it's really dope.
Yeah.
Just adding some of your context in a gentle or different way
Yeah.
makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, and I was literally doing this yesterday with Nico and our other homie. Like,
Yeah.
he was putting me on the music, and I was putting him on. Like, we just had the music video streaming.
And you're like, oh, you haven't heard this yet, Tristan?
No, it was just like it was our homie Ansel, who's a DJ. So like he was putting me on music, and I was sharing music too. He's like, oh, this is sick, and like that's how simple it is, you know? Because like I think it's just at the end of the day, you're like having an open mind, right? Like if you like a genre, like for me, I love R&B, like I said. So it's like you throw anything R&B my way, I'm gonna give it a listen. So yeah, I think that's what it's. Oh, having an open mind, that's what it's all about, you know?
I agree. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that.
For sure, dude.
So who are your top 3 artists of all time? I know that you said your top genres are R&B,
Yeah.
hip hop, and indie.
Yeah.
But how about the artists?
Artists.
Doesn't have to be resonant with those categories, but just in general.
All time is crazy. Can I do right now?
Yeah.
So right now, who I've been listening to a lot of, I'll say Jordan Ward. That's like probably my number one right now.
I always think of you when I think of Jordan Ward.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, that's sick, dude.
And he's the one that DM'd you, right?
Yeah, he DM'd
Ooh,
me.
that's
That's
love,
crazy.
man.
Yeah, he's like, yo, thanks for sharing my music. I was like, oh, this is dope. He's like
Hey,
one of my
Insider
favorite,
secrets.
yeah, one of my favorite artists. So it was dope, dude. And then second, probably Ombre. She's so cool. Another R&B artist. Third, right now, I'd probably say Greek. He's like indie R&B ish. Like he's cool. That's right now. But all time, I'd really have to think about it. All time's kind of crazy.
Just top of the head.
Okay, honestly, I just thought about it. Okay, so like I would probably say Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne's probably like my number one like favorite rapper ever.
The Carter 3 I could listen to from track 1 to the very end.
No skips, dude.
No
No
skips.
skips. I would probably say Usher, because
Ooh.
I remember as a kid, like I'd like saved all like my week's worth of like lunch money, and I bought the 8701.
Same here. I
Dude.
bought it from Costco.
Yo, I bought it at Target, dude.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I bought that. That was like one of the first like albums like I purchased with my own money, you know, and it's still timeless. Third favorite artist, I would say I said Lil Wayne, Usher.
Jay Sean.
Nah, no disrespect though. I'll probably say ASAP Rocky. Honestly,
Really?
yeah, probably
Wow,
say
sleeper
ASAP.
pick.
Yeah, cause I remember, I remember like when his mixtape had just dropped. I want to say it was like towards the end of our senior year. I listened to it like religiously, like repeat the whole day, and like even up until like my 30s now, I still go back to listen to, just because like it's like, you know how like certain music and songs like bring you back to a specific time.
Nostalgic.
Yeah, and then not only that, he was the first concert I had ever gone to see live
At the Shoreline?
at the Shoreline. Yeah,
Wow.
2012.
Shoreline Amphitheater, Mountain View, California.
Yeah, that was my first
Legendary.
concert. Yeah, it was sick. So I would say he's probably one of my favorite all time.
ASAP.
Yeah.
Shout out to ASAP Ferg. I used to live in New York, and I worked at a vintage shop.
Yeah.
And it was sports inspired. So ASAP Ferg, or actually not ASAP Ferg, sorry, ASAP Nast came in.
No way.
And he was wearing like a $5,000 Margiela coat. He was buying a vintage Rodman jersey from the Bulls.
Yeah.
And it was authentic. It was embroidered and everything else. I think we have a picture with him. I don't. My boss does.
Yeah.
But he pulled out a wad of cash, like
just-
probably $10,000 to $15,000 in cash, and paid for it. And
How much was the jersey?
Probably like 300.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, "Whoa, this guy's baller." I was like
Slight
19,
flex, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
slight
dude.
flex. Just like, who carries that in their
Yeah.
pocket? But he's super cool dude, super down to earth, and I'm glad that you were able to share a lot of your favorite genres and artists. So my next question was, how do you discover new music, and how do you decide to post whether it's new music or old music?
Wow. Okay. So how do I discover new music? I think simple answer. I'll like wait till every Thursday or like 9 o'clock, and I'll see. Right.
Oh, so you're kind of like,
Yeah.
do you want
Or
to give context for the people who don't know what music refreshes are?
yeah. So basically, every Thursday at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, new music gets played. It gets released by different artists. So that's how I'm able to find out what's dropped or who dropped it. Right. But another way that I prefer is when I'm creating playlists, especially on Spotify. At the bottom, it says like recommended songs and artists to add to the playlist, and you're able to listen to the song first before you add it. You want to add it, so that's how I'm able to find different artists and songs. So that's probably like my favorite way of finding music. I think this depending on what I'm posting. So like, I'll have like a specific topic for what I'm posting. Like for example, I'll do Throwback Thursdays, so I'll post just regardless of the genre. I'll post whatever some of my favorite throwbacks that day. And then new music, other stuff, like I'll do topics of like, oh, this is songs I've had on repeat lately. Like, so I'll share songs I've had on repeat. And then other topics are like songs that had just came out in the last few months. That's how I would release new music, right? Or if you like this, you should listen to this, you know? So for example, I did a post of like, if you like Snow Allegra, listen to this person. If you like Frank Ocean, listen to this person. More like lesser known artists, but they have that same vibe. So
Taking them on a journey to what they would like.
yes, yeah. And I think that's what it's about, right? Because if you like a certain artist and you find another artist that's similar, chances are you're going to kind of indulge into their music too. At least that's what I do.
And I really have so much respect for the fact that you put yourself out there on social media and make content that's consumable for folks rather than just going on Spotify and sharing your playlist from Spotify. Anyone could do that and
Yeah.
make a Spotify playlist, but you're really taking the time to think about an intro, thinking about how you want to outline your video and present the music and everything to your audience.
For sure, because it's not easy, right? Because like you were just saying, anybody can make the playlist and just be like, hey, here it is. I'm picking topics to share, like different genres. Even though I've shared a lot of R&B, I just don't. I dabble in a lot of other things. Being able to present like quality content, right? Like I'm trying my best. Hopefully they can see that, but at the same time, it's like it's simple at the end of the day, right? It's just music. You either like it or you don't, right? The thing is like, if you gave it a try, hey, that's cool, you know? Kind of with like everything in life. If you gave it a try one time, you didn't like it, that's cool. You know?
Exactly. Whenever we post content, we can't expect everyone to like it or even click on it or engage with us.
Yeah.
Some may hate on it, some may like it. As long as you consumed it, that's cool. But as long as we express it to others, that's all we really care about.
Yeah, like knock on wood, I haven't experienced anybody like hating or anything. I haven't gotten any like nasty comments, but it's like it takes more time for you to do that rather than just to consume the content, right?
Too much energy.
Like you're going out of your way to do that. Like I would never do that to somebody.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna go out of my way and be like, yo, this is trash. I'm like, no, dude.
You're almost projecting your anger about something else in your life
Exactly.
through the internet or someone's social media.
Something pent up inside, and this is my way of like venting.
It's like the keyboard warriors.
Yeah, the
right?
keyboard warrior for sure. It's like you're not really, you're not gaining anything from it, you know. Sure, did they see it? Maybe, but do they care?
Just don't respond back.
Yeah.
I get a lot of keyboard warriors on my main channel, the fashion channel, all the time because they think that I work for the brand that I'm reviewing or I'm like the customer service guru or, you know, got one detail wrong or had a different opinion than they had and they always get offended. But you just can't give that attention. Don't give any negativity attention or else you're going to fulfill what they really want.
For sure. Like, even if I were to come across it, like I see it in real life all the time, you know. I can't please everybody, you know, but at the end of the day, like I said my 2 cents and it's a matter of you taking it in positively or negatively, right? It's all perception, right? At the end of the day. So
you got to serve yourself.
Yeah. Like I said what I said and the way I wanted to say it. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, you know?
At the end of the day, if you have haters, you're doing something right.
Yeah. I guess so, yeah. I mean, I haven't had any haters.
Same here.
Yeah.
Like those YouTube trolls, they're just trying to get a reaction out of me.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I could care less. I still got a loving family, friends, and things to do in my life.
Yeah, like
more content to make.
This isn't my whole life. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's just a little part of it that I enjoy doing.
Some people just want to be heard and have a sounding board, which I definitely resonate with. But what also resonated with me is nostalgia, because you talked about music, and that's kind of the reoccurring theme that I got. The reason you love music so much is because it brings you to a moment in time, an era of memories, nostalgia, and feelings that you could probably never feel again, but always think back on.
Yeah.
So, what is the biggest lesson in your life so far through the 31 years of you living?
I think for me personally, and I've experienced this so much like in my mid to late 20s, was worry about the things that you can only worry about the things that you can control, right? Because you watch people like do it like succeed and they're getting this, and but at the same time it's like you have a life that you're living, and if you weren't able to be as fortunate as they were, like I've had friends and people, peers of who've come from great lives of like their parents just being able to support them, and applaud to them for doing that, right? And I was never in that situation. So like growing up like in my late teens to early 20s, there's like a lot of jealousy that was in me, seeing other people win. I asked myself, like, why can't I win, you know? And as I grew older, it's like I wasn't fortunate enough to be dealt that hand, right?
Oof.
You know, but at the same time, like they were my closest friends, and they still appreciated and rocked me regardless of my situation, right? So as I grew older, it's like I could only do what I do, and I have no control of what's happening with them, right? So that's my probably my biggest lesson is to only worry about the things that you can control, right?
That's really powerful. Thank you for sharing that. I love the fact that you worded it as we only, I'm kind of microphrasing it, but I really took away the fact that you said we could only play the cards that were dealt, or the hand that we're dealt. Because the more and more we think about us being a victim and having those negative thoughts, it's really going to become a part of us. And we're never going to allow ourselves to heal, be abundant, or be positive. I come from an inherent place of privilege, spoiledness, if that's even a word, but just gratefulness, because we've always been, I don't know, I've always been raised to just be strong and never be a victim. And I'm the youngest of a lot of my generation, so I've always been bullied by my older uncles and everyone else in my family. And I just learned that you can't really compare the hand that you were dealt compared to other people.
Yeah, and like sure, it's not like it wasn't always like rainbows and sunshine for them too, you know. It wasn't perfect, but that at the same time it's like they went through their struggles too, and they were able to persevere just as you did, you know. But outside looking in, right, you want to be able to strive for what you're able to accomplish, because nobody else could do it for you, right? That's my biggest thing, is like no one is going to do it for you, right? So the work that you put in, regardless, is, for example, like this podcast or the music the content I'm creating, no one's going to do it for you, right? Someone could write the script, but at the end of the day, you're saying all the stuff, you know. Like you have to be in front of the camera, and I have to be in front of my students. Like I have to be able to give them the best version of myself, because if I don't, they're gonna see it, right? Same thing on this camera. If you're not able to present yourself in a way that's presentable and positive, like it's not gonna be, because that's, at the end of the day, that's not you, right? So you want to be as authentic as possible, regardless if it may be perceived as like bad, but at the same time it's like you're giving your best foot forward, you know.
You're gonna see it and you're gonna feel it. The most depressing times I've ever had in my life, trust me, it doesn't get any easier. I still have these episodes at times where I wake up in sweats, whether it's an afternoon nap or even in the early morning, and I feel like I'm just wasting life. I'm angry at the fact that I'm just sleeping and I'm so tired, and I just want to get things done as far as my goals and fulfillment in my personal life and professional life, that I just want to get things done, and there's not enough time in the day, or I'm so unfocused on one thing at a time. My life's all over the place, or things are tumultuous. But the more you think like that, the more you don't organize your thoughts. And whenever I have that fear or depressive state, I take a deep breath to 1, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale out, and then understand things just take time, whether it's the day to day, but also your long-term goals. And like you said, you're the only person that could accomplish that. You're one of one. Doesn't matter if you're a biological twin or whatever.
Yeah.
An analogy is that sometimes the folks who come from the wealthiest backgrounds, their children are never fulfilled in life because they probably get everything that they ever wanted.
Yeah.
where it's the opposite, where some folks that didn't have as much resources are probably the happiest and don't care that much about material things. And I'm grateful that I was grounded. Every summer as a kid, I grew up with my grandfather, and he didn't really have that much money, still doesn't really have that much money, and we just did household chores, ate together, watched sports, and that's all we bonded over. But I moved to a bigger city, and I noticed that there were different lifestyle changes, and folks were getting very impressionable when it comes to status, money, comparison, and the cards that they were dealt as far as their personal life and professional life. And I noticed that the more I focus on my purpose, my intention, my habits, and positivity, I really had that adoration for myself.
For sure.
And it really made me become my best self and show up for others. And this podcast as a whole wouldn't be a thing if there were not kind people like you or people that I really vibe with. So I appreciate you for hopping on.
Yeah, and I appreciate you, man. And one thing that I've always like kept dear to me is when people say quality over quantity, right? So like, and that's resonated like my whole life because I didn't grow up with much, and I always made the best of what was handed to me, right? And same thing as an adult, like let's be real, like adult friendships they're difficult, right? And I've been very fortunate and blessed to be able to have the same friend group, which isn't a lot of us, right? There's only a handful of the people in my close friend group. We've been friends for like over 20 years, right? And not a whole lot of people in their 30s can say that. And that's like the definition of like quality over quantity, right? Because I've in my head I've always told myself I never needed much, right? But the ones that stuck around, they stuck around, you know?
And I appreciate you because you live in Arizona, and we always try to make time to link up.
Yeah. So like I always say like if you can, you should, you know? So like if I have free time, you have free time, like why not make it happen? You know what I mean? So
of course.
Yeah.
Man. So I know that you're passionate about educating, music, and also fitness, but is there something that the people don't know about you that they'd probably be surprised that you're passionate about?
Oh wow. Wow.
It could be something super random. Like I could be like, I'm passionate about, I don't know. I don't know. That's actually a pretty hard question for me too. I don't know what I'll be passionate about.
Because I'm a pretty simple person.
It could be like roller coasters. I don't know.
Something I'm really passionate about. Wow.
Like car detailing. That's a fun fact. I actually watch car detailing videos in my free time. I'll be working out.
Yeah.
I literally just put on music, watch car detailing videos.
Yeah.
And those videos are so cathartic to me and relaxing.
Wow. I haven't been into it as much lately. I still like kind of dabble in it, but I love like ASMR.
Oh, okay.
I love it. Right. Like because teenage years until like early adulthood, like I've always had trouble sleeping, right? And literally I'd throw on like an ASMR video like before I'd go to bed, and I'd be out in like 15-20 minutes, you know?
How many hours of sleep do you need per night?
Personally?
Yes.
To function properly, I would say 5.5, 6 for me personally.
5?
Yeah, 5.5, 6.
Wow.
Because anything less than that, oh, it's so bad.
I need at least 6 or 7. 5, I'm tired.
7 would be great, but I would say 5.5 to 6 is what I'm getting on average during the school year.
Okay.
During the school year, but like since school's obviously done, I'll get like 7.5 now. Because I still tend to wake up early. I'll be up before 8 sometimes, just because like my body's so used to being up early for school. But I would say to function properly, I would say 5.5 to 6.
So you got your circadian rhythm
ready. And I'm so like built on a routine now, so I need to get that.
I think that's really important. I'm glad you brought that up. Abundance of routine has helped me a lot in life.
For sure.
Just the fact that you're laying out your underwear, your socks, your t-shirt, your pants, your shoes the next morning doesn't mean you have to wear it. You could change it up in the morning, but it just gives you clarity, peace of mind, and a purpose for the morning.
Yeah.
Even me flossing, I'm on, I don't know, 15-day floss streak.
Yeah,
I have
really?
an electric flosser.
Oh, wow,
actually.
okay.
It's pretty cool. Not sponsored.
Yeah.
But the habit building and that routine really has helped me a lot.
Yeah, and when you said the laying out your clothes, like during the school year, I do that every night. Like I lay them out, I put them on my desk, and when I wake up, and also it saves you time, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to look for it. Like I get an extra 5 minutes sleep just setting it out, doing that, you know? So I literally do that every single day without a skip.
Like it's the first day of school.
Yeah, I have it laid out on my desk, and it's ready for me to just put on. And I do that every day.
I love that.
Yeah.
I have the towels on the towel rack right
Yeah.
outside the shower. I have the contact lenses. I use daily contact
Yeah.
lenses ready.
Yeah.
I have the toothpaste ready. I have the mouthwash ready. Everything is ready to go so that you could either sleep more or you could do whatever you want to do and be present with your thoughts and at peace with your thoughts and your routine versus stressful and anxious. Because the first thing in the morning, if you're stressed out, you're going to feel that throughout the whole day.
Yeah.
And you're going to feel like everything is so negative. So just having that routine and starting the day off well, calm and at peace is truly important.
Yeah, you said it perfectly, like putting you at peace, and that was exactly what I was thinking while you said it. Cause
Sorry, I said.
even like that extra 5 minutes of sleep like puts you at peace just a little bit more, you know, and like knowing like you have it already prepared, like you're chilling, you know.
But if you're not at peace, say you're a fashionista
Yeah.
and you don't like the fit,
Yeah.
at least you got 5 minutes to select what you want to select.
Yeah, and you have something out already, right? At least you have something. You're not like trying to search. I mean, maybe you will, but like you have something prepared, which is nice, you know.
And that preparation, make sure you don't look at your clock all the time. Like, oh, do I have
Yeah.
enough time? Is it 9 a.m. yet?
Yeah.
Just make sure you're at peace and have a routine. So
Yeah.
you heard it first from Adrian, myself. Routine matters.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
My last question to you is, do you have any goals for the future that you wanted to share with everyone?
Oh yeah. So like I've been thinking about this for the last 2-ish years now. Like ever since I became a teacher, I've kind of been thinking about going back to school to get my master's in counseling for school, because I ultimately like kind of want to be a counselor. I'm still kind of up in the air with like I like fully committing. Like I gave myself like I don't know, like a year to really think it out before I actually commit. But that's probably one of my goals, is to possibly go back to school to get my master's in counseling. So we'll see how that works.
I love
Yeah.
that, man. I think it's always great to go to school. I personally love school a lot because I love that structure and it gives me some sort of purpose and sense of belonging.
Yeah.
Because I never really felt that growing up. But thank you so much for sharing. I just had one more question actually too. I didn't. It's so rude of me to ask.
it's all
What
good.
kind of ASMR do you listen to?
So I like
Not the X-rated ones.
no,
right?
no, 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 no,
I'm
no,
just
no, no.
kidding.
like rain falling.
Okay.
Yeah, like hand sounds like this.
Like warm log fire cabin.
yeah, something like that. Like just something very light in the background, you know? Because like sometimes ASMR is like super aggressive, right?
Yeah.
But like the like rain falling or like water drops, like that's like my
like
favorite.
Birdman laughing.
Yeah.
Like, you know? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, the raindrops probably my favorite. Anything like type of like tapping, that's cool too, you know? Like wood like tapping. Yeah, that's what I'm into.
I used to meditate a lot before sleeping, and I used to use an app called Headspace, not sponsoring the podcast. They had a guided meditation where they would have a lot of those raindrop sounds.
Yeah, I've tried it
and
out.
someone speaking to you.
Yeah.
And I would fall asleep, but I would also be nervous and not at peace because I feel like my phone's going to die and
Yeah,
my
yeah,
alarm
yeah.
wouldn't go off.
Yeah.
So I definitely resonate with you. I love those sounds. I love just having a background too, just to look at.
Same. Yeah.
And a lot of the lighting really affects my mornings.
Yeah.
For example, the more warm light is, the more tired and cozy I feel.
Yeah.
The more blue it is, the more awake and kind of, whoa.
Oh wow.
You really got to get
Yeah.
energetic with it.
Yeah. I never really thought about that. Oh,
So
wow.
I try to make all my lights in this room and other rooms are guided by my phone.
Yeah.
So they're all connected via the Wi-Fi or Bluetooth.
Yeah, yeah.
So I change this light in back of me
Yeah.
to a warmer light as it gets later in the day, and it turns off automatically at 2 a.m. every single night,
Oh wow.
every single morning,
Yeah.
and it turns back on into a blue light around 9 a.m.
To start your morning.
to start the
wow.
morning. So I wake up and it kind of simulates artificial sunlight,
Yeah.
and then as it goes later in the day, it simulates artificial dusk or the sunset.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
Yeah, it's something that I always thought about, but I never really shared. A lot of lighting really matters to me because
Yeah.
I get really down when I'm in an office or environments where the lighting, it might sound weird, but the vibes really affect me.
Yeah.
The visuals, the smell, that's why we got the candles,
Yeah.
the auditory aspects of things really affect me.
I'm kind of with you on that too. Like I prefer natural lighting. So like I like in my house I'll never have until it gets dark, that's when I'll turn the lights on. But like as soon like as the sun is up, I'll have my blinds open. Like I'll open all the blinds in the living room, the kitchen, just because I don't know. I like feeling the sun. You know what I mean? Like so obviously it's really hot in Arizona, so it's hard to go out all the time. But like even just getting a peek of the sunlight is like lifts up my spirits. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're in a studio right now, so typically I have all the windows open, the lighting on, more lighting the better. But typically I agree with you too. I always like natural sunlight, but I also need the artificial light to help enhance my mood and my vibe and my
Like a little pick me up, right?
energy throughout the day. Yeah,
For sure.
exactly. Just that pick me up.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
I feel that.
Well, thank you so much for hopping on the pod. I appreciate you so much for sharing your profession as a teacher, your love for music, and your goals for the future. Is there anything else you wanted to say to the people?
No, I just want to say I appreciate you for having me on here, dude.
Hey, man, it's fun,
yeah, dude. Like it's fun, you know. Like I reached out to him a few weeks back, and we made it happen, and it's fun, man. This is cool. Like I rock with this. It's dope.
And it's always dope to just hang out. It's not like you hit me up just to hop on the podcast. You know what I mean?
Like I want to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
Like yeah. Like we have conversations all the time, but it's like in this type of space is completely different, you know. So being able to do this, like, cause I watched your pod, you know, it's dope, and being able to be on this, like, this is cool, man.
Man, I'm more than happy and excited when folks hit me up, and I'm so glad that you were able to hop on the pod. If anyone wants to hop on the pod and just have a great conversation, feel free to reach out, and let's create more moments like Adrian and I had today.
Yeah, and that's like the biggest thing, right? It's like you're creating moments and just having conversation, you know, like it's dope.
We
you know?
expect literally nothing in return. As long as we reciprocate our vibes and energy, that's all I care about, and having a good conversation.
Most definitely, dude. Most
And
definitely.
Adrian is a testament to that, man. Serving his community, serving his music tastes, and serving his goals for the future.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
Once again, this was Adrian Araquel. My name's AJ. If you guys aren't subscribed already, feel free to hit the like, subscribe. We will see you guys in the next one. Let go.
Let's get it.
Peace. That was good, bro.
Yeah, that was dope, bro.
Dude, I always feel so energetic after having these
No, yeah,
conversations,
like I
man.
feel fulfilled right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel fulfilled.
Like, it's hard. The hardest part, I know we're still recording.
Yeah, it's
I
all
usually
good.
do this at the end.
yeah, yeah.
But the hardest part of having this podcast is literally just setting up all the lighting, all the cameras, and the editing.
Yeah, because once we get started, it's smooth. You know what I
It's
mean? Minus
smooth.
like the little hiccup, but
we
that never,
laugh a lot,
yeah,
too.
Yeah, dude. That didn't. You said that's never happened before, right?
It was a mess up on my part.
Oh, yeah,
I forgot to clear the card.
Yeah, but I mean, other than that, like it was smooth sailing, dude.
Yeah, and you could feel the momentum go up as the pod goes.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
naturally, this is not a natural conversation.
No.
Like the 1 camera, 2 camera, 3
Yeah.
camera, light.
It's like 3 different eyes are watching you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like we're just still having a conversation. You know
And
what I
if
mean?
there's anything that we could get out of this for the future, I almost wanted to use this as an excuse to interview people that I'm really interested in. And
Yeah.
I've always been interested in your craft and your passion
Yeah.
and what you make content-wise.
Yeah.
But I know you live in Arizona, and we never really get a time to link up unless it's through Nico. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know when you're here, but
Yeah.
I'm so glad
Dude, we made it happen, bro.
that
'Cause
this
we've-
platform allowed us to connect with one another.
because we've had like these conversations like a year ago, like,
Yeah.
yo, we gotta talk about this stuff, and then like,
literally eating in Milpitas
Yes.
at the Chinese restaurant,
Yes,
the Chinese
bro.
barbecue restaurant.
yeah, and you weren't even doing any pods at the time, and I was
No.
like, dude, we should do a pod, and
Uh.
then you're like, oh shoot, maybe we can make it happen.
Yeah.
And-
But I don't know. I don't know where the pod came from. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I got inspired a lot by Lewis Howes, Jay Shetty, even
Yeah.
Pokimane. She has a podcast.
Oh really? Oh
Hey,
wow.
man, shout out Pokimane. No, but in all serious, man, like this podcast has really let me connect with family, friends, and folks that I would never get to speak on a platform with.
Yeah, and I think especially with this day and age of like fast technology and like short attention spans of people, like TikTok, like everything's so quick, right? Like having long format content is refreshing because it allows your mind to like focus on what's really happening, right? As a consumer, because when I watch podcasts, I'm tapped in, you know, I'm like
Yeah.
paying attention. It's like watching a movie almost, you know. So I think that's why it's important to like have these conversations and make this type of content for the people that are like so used to just short form content, right? It's a different aspect.
It's
They should-
almost like you're just hanging out, whether they're watching it or just listening to it.
Yeah.
We are fulfilled in this moment. It's easy to get affected by the content. I've seen or heard some comments in the past, And it really affected me because I was like, man, like they don't understand the intention behind this.
Yeah.
And we're trying to put our best foot forward. I don't do this to make it seem like I'm the utmost gatekeeper of holiness,
Yeah.
like being healthy, healed, and abundant,
Yeah.
or, you know, meditating or trying to build good habits and things like that. Like, I'm just trying to be a better person with folks that I really rock with.
Yeah, and even on the other end of that, right? Like the people that you have on might not be on that tip either, but it's like, let's just have a conversation still, because
Yeah.
I rock with you. You know what I mean?
And it depends too. Like if I have a conversation in the future with someone I don't know and they just want to talk about being entertaining only, we could go that way too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But naturally, I just have an inclination to move towards intention, passion, and purpose.
Yeah. And that's what like moves you in life too, right? That's the foundation of those things, right?
And you're not going to please everyone, like you said in the podcast, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm just so glad that this is not only an excuse anymore, but really my purpose and medium and sounding board to hang out with folks,
Yeah.
connect with folks, and also just express myself.
Yeah, and like even I just thought of it right now, right? It's like people read like self-help books, right? I read self-help books like often, but this is like a live action self-help book in a way. You know what I mean? Because we're just saying it, you know, and it's through our own experiences and your experiences. It's like, oh wow, like I went through this too, or wow, I didn't know that about them. Like, and hearing stuff like that is helpful as a consumer. That's why I'm tapped into this podcast, other types of podcasts. Like, it helps me out. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man.
Yeah, dude.
Self-help is not one-to-one. Everything you listen to from Jay Shetty or Lewis Howes or Andrew Huberman may not work for you.
For sure.
But you kind of got to cherry pick and choose what works best for your habit building and your routines. And that's what we always talk about. We always joke around a lot.
Yeah.
Probably more than we actually speak on platforms like this.
Yeah.
But man, I'm just so grateful that we can have conversations like this. And this is what really the intention is about. If it goes somewhere, it goes somewhere. It's really just an excuse for me to interview people and learn from people that I really admire as far as their craft, their passion, and their purpose.
Yeah, dude. And at the end of the day, it's a conversation, right? And that's what it is. Like, I feel like anything can be started with just a conversation, whether we talk about the deep stuff or like the fun stuff, but the fact that we were able to start it is all that matters. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you do have to position the podcast in a certain way.
Yeah.
It's not like we're just talking about only sports or old past tidbit
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah.
Like I have to edit out that orange
yeah.
pants thing. But like, you know, like I just don't want it to be inauthentic. I want it to be organic and
Yeah.
make sense. There's many times where, let's say for some reason there's an analogy where you get the support when you're actually blowing up or getting numbers.
Yeah.
I don't care for folks that want to use this platform for their own benefit because they truly didn't watch the podcast or really care about it.
Yeah. Like,
And I don't care about connecting with them because
Yeah.
what are we going to talk about?
no, yeah. And like for me, for example, right, talk about myself, like we've been talking about this. So it's
Yeah.
not like I just hit you out of the blue and be like,
No,
yo, let me be
exactly.
on, you know?
I was happy that you wanted to hop on the
Yeah,
podcast.
dude. Like we've been talking about this like for over a year now. So it's like it's
Mm-hmm.
fun to be able to be here and actually make it happen. You know,
Exactly.
we put the idea in the universe and now it's happening. Sick.
Manifestation, man.
Yeah.
Good people helping good people, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
man.
you.
Hell yeah.
This is Adrian Araquel. My name's AJ. This is Adoration with AJ Podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out. We'll see you guys in the next one. Lego. Peace. All right.
That was tough, bro.
That was cool.
That's
I usually
tough.
keep it rolling because
Yeah.
that's the most organic.
Yeah.
Like we're just chopping it up. But
Yeah.
I know sometimes it rubs people the wrong way because they think it's inauthentic.
Yeah.
But it's real.
No, dude, we made that shit happen, bro.
Yeah, I feel it. I'm
Yeah.
up now. I'm up.
Yeah.